Hello and welcome to Nano Yoga. So last week we talked about body image and how our society sort of shames us into thinness, and it is summer up here in the northern hemisphere. So today I thought we would really focus on our bodies, on ourselves, and on self-love. So get ready with me, get on your mat, and we'll get started. So let's get started. So we are doing a self-love sequence, and you already know that because I already told you. My leg is cramping. I just typed the sequence on my laptop so I can kind of see it and keep an eye on what I've written for this sequence, so bear with me. But we'll get started first. We'll get grounded. We are opening up our heart, that sort of heart chakra and hatha chakra area, and we're going to bring both hands, palms facing up and shoulders relaxed and looking forwards. And here, if you'd like to, just gently closing the eyes, and we'll do 5 nice slow breaths together. And here, as you're inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose again for your first breath, your mantra, the sentence that we will repeat just to remind ourselves about self-love, about our bodies, is I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So you should be on your 3rd breath by now, so still inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose again. And one more time, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. One final nice deep breath here. And a nice deep exhale. And if you've still got your eyes closed, gently opening your eyes. And then here, we're just going to bring both hands out to the side, and I'm just going to mirror you. So we're going to head over to the left first. So bringing the hand up towards your right side, you're just going to look towards your right. We'll just do an easy twist here. So inhaling here, nice and tall. And as you exhale, you can just use the shoulder rather than your head, just to look back a little further. Inhaling back to center and exhaling to the other side. So heading over to the left now, nice and tall here with the chest facing towards me. And again, using that shoulder rather than the face or the chin, just to look a little further back with that shoulder. And then you're going to slowly inhale back to center. Just take 1 breath here, closing the eyes. And then as you exhale, we're going to bring both hands out in front of you. And then here, what you're going to do is leave the right leg underneath. I'm not going to mirror you this time because it's going to be a bit confusing. You're going to bring the left leg over. So either here you can stay exactly where you are in easy pose. Otherwise, if you'd like to, bring that left leg over the right leg. And then here you just want to make sure that both your butt cheeks are down. Don't actually have a yoga block, but if you need a yoga block, you can use one here, or just like a cushion or something that's a bit padded if you feel like you kind of want to ground that hip down, or you've got anything that's kind of floating up, it's not a problem. Otherwise, if you want to, you can bring your leg all the way to the other side, nice and tall here with the chest forward, arms to the side. So the right leg's underneath, so you can bring the right arm underneath, left arm above. And we're just going to bring both hands in front. So here, if you've got any shoulder pains, you can always kind of give yourself a nice hug. Bring the elbows up. Make sure you stay here. Otherwise, number 2, bring your hands together here. And then final one is clasping the hands together. Inhaling here. And exhale, stay exactly where you are. And then next, exhale, you untap the hands. Bring the right hand up, kind of like you're saying hello. Left hand is behind you. You're just going to bring both hands together. If you can't kind of reach the hands together, don't worry. Just use your whatever top you have on. You can kind of use them like this to kind of reach this way. If not, just reach this way. Otherwise, clasp the hands behind you if that's accessible. And then here, another deep breath here. And a nice exhale. Unclasping the hands. And then to do that on the other side. So here, unclasp the hands, both legs come out. The right was underneath, whichever one you have currently, hopefully the right. Left one leg is coming underneath. Again, if you want to stay in easy pose, you can do so. Otherwise, left leg underneath, right leg over. If you need to kind of pad under that butt cheek, feel free to do so. Otherwise, bring that foot all the way to the right. For me on this side, feel a little bit more sore, so I'm just going to leave my foot a little bit higher. Do what's best for your body. You're your number one teacher. And as the left leg is underneath, we're going to bring the left arm underneath. Here again, any shoulder issues, give yourself a nice hug, but bring those elbows up. Then otherwise, if you want to go a bit further, both hands together. And then if you'd like to bind, here's your chance. Another nice long deep breath here, wherever you are. Elbows a little bit higher up, chest towards me. And then exhale, staying exactly as you are again. And I'll clasp the hands. And then here the left leg, the left arm goes behind you. Right arm is behind you too. So here, if you can't quite reach, you just grab the shirt or whatever you're wearing. If you're topless, maybe grab a small towel or a big towel or a belt. And then if you want to do that, you can just clasp the hands behind you if you have the mobility there. Another deep breath here. And exhale. Clasp the hands, bring them by your side. We're going to just bring that right knee in. What we're going to do here is, if you are kind of already facing this way, stay where you are. Otherwise, if you're like me, just bring your feet behind you, your bum on top of the feet, hands out in front of you. And then here for Balasana, child's pose. It doesn't matter if your head or your bum's not quite on top of your feet. Just find what's comfortable for you. And just doing 2 nice slow breaths here. Final breath where you are. Next inhale, press down a little on your hands. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Hands coming a little bit closer towards you. And then here you just want to become like a tabletop. Then you want to have your wrists underneath the shoulder joint. Maybe you need to kind of rearrange your body. Everyone's different, of course. And then here, you're in a tabletop position. So from here, we're just going to bring our chest down. The bum's going to come up slightly, but we really want to focus more on the chest. Bringing that chest down. And then inhaling, looking up. Cow pose. And then cat, looking towards the belly. Exhale. Got 3 more of those. Inhaling up, chest down, looking up. Exhaling, looking down. Inhaling, coming back up. And exhale, coming all the way down. Inhaling, coming up again. And exhale all the way back down. Next, you're just going to bring your spine into a neutral position, back into a tabletop position. And then here, you're just going to tuck the toes in. You're going to bring your bum up towards the sky. And then here, bringing both hands out in front of you. You're going to bend the knees if you need to. I've got pretty tight hamstrings at the moment, so feel free to do so. Otherwise, pressing the heels down towards the mat. But if it feels a little bit tight like it does for me, just bend the knees a little bit. You can even bend the elbows a little bit. But what you really want to do is press that chest down towards the ground. Don't worry too much if your legs are straight or not. 1 more breath here. Then the right leg's going to come behind you, nice and high. You're going to bring that right leg forwards, and the left knee is going to come down. So kind of in the crescent lunge or low lunge. You're going to inhale, bringing both arms up. And then here, just make sure you're not kind of just pressing too much in that flexibility, a little bit of strength. And then both hands up, right hip back, left hip forward. 1 more breath where you are. And then you're going to exhale, you're going to bring yourself forwards. You're going to bring the right foot back and then back into your downward facing dog. If you would prefer to get straight back into a balasana, kind of more of a resting pose, feel free to do so. And then bring your toes down, knees up towards the sky, pressing that bum towards the back of the room. Knees can be bent like mine. You can slightly bend the elbows, but you really want to be pushing that chest sort of down towards the mat. Not to the point where like your shoulders are kind of popping out, but just with a bit of strength there in your arms. Looking forward, you're going to inhale, left leg back, left leg comes forward, back into a low lunge on the other side. Right knee down, untuck the back foot, inhale, hands facing up. And then here, staying here. One more breath, right hip a little bit back, left hip forward. Again, this is when you might notice, I certainly can, this is my stiffer side. I snowboard, so I kind of use more of one side than the other. And it affects me all year round now. And then exhaling, both hands back down again, get back into down dog. Again, totally optional to go into balasana, into your child's pose. Here, bend the knees if they're still, the back of your legs don't feel very warmed up. One more breath where you are. And then right leg's coming back this time. Right leg's coming forward, left knee's coming down, back into your low lunge. So here you've got some options. So hands up towards the sky, looking forwards, right hip back, left hip forward. If you're feeling good here, you stay here. If you'd like to go a little bit further, what we're doing is opening the chest in this sequence, Anahata chakra, so kind of that heart, that area. We want to really let our hearts be open for self-love, for really learning to love our bodies the way that it is, not changing anything about yourself. And then left hand's going to come back. If you want to try this one, you can always put like a towel or something to kind of pad here under the knee if you've got like a really hard floor underneath your yoga mat. Surprisingly, this tatami mat's really quite hard. Left hand is going to come towards the foot. And here does require a bit of balance. So if you're kind of wobbly, don't worry about it. No one's looking. This whole point of YouTube is that you're doing this in private at home. And what you want to do here is not press the bum back towards the foot, it's actually press the foot towards the bum. And like I said, I'm pretty stiff. I've been working out. I'm going to use that as my excuse. And if you feel a bit stiff, don't worry. Don't push yourself so that your foot cramps. Just do it enough that you can feel a nice stretch in the front of your thigh, opening that front body. And then exhale, let go of that foot. Inhaling, both hands back up. Exhaling, both hands back down. Right foot back. Tuck the toes. Again, you can even do child's pose, this one. Or you can get back into your Shavasana. And then we'll do that on the other side. So left leg's coming up this time. Inhale, foot forward. Right foot, knee down. Inhaling nice and tall. And then here what we're going to do is bring that right hand, bring it all the way to the back foot. So again, you can stay here, that's totally fine. You can kind of lift that back foot a little bit and see how that feels. If that's too much cramping, leave it where it is. Otherwise, right hand up towards that right foot. If it's a bit wobbly, use a wall, that's actually my heater. And just something nearby that you can kind of balance yourself on. If you can't reach, doesn't matter. This actually took me a long time even to be able to get to do this. And normally I can put my foot further up, but like I said, I'm a little bit stiff. It happens. One more breath here. Exhaling, slowly drop the foot back down. Inhaling nice and tall here. Exhaling, both hands in front of you, left leg's coming back. And then here, you're going to tuck the toes in. We're going to get into plank just for one breath. And you're going to exhale, chaturanga, elbows in, coming all the way down, kind of like a push-up. You're going to inhale up into cobra pose. So either you're staying here nice and low, squeeze those glutes, come up, chest towards the front, and then otherwise nice and tall into cobra pose. You really want to squeeze those glutes, chest forwards, arms and shoulders down, looking forwards. And then exhale, you're going to go back into kind of like you're doing a child's pose, but we're just going to bring both knees in front of you. Bum's going to come down, knees, feet in front, and we're just going to lie down. What I'm going to do is turn this way because the light is actually this way. I don't know why I've been doing it the other way around. And then here, staying here, feet out and then both hands out to the side. So here we're going to get onto our bridge pose. So feet are just underneath the knees. So kind of like about more than a hand, depending on your hand size, away from your bum. And then here, pressing down on those shoulders and those hands, you're going to press the hips up towards the sky. And then here, what we really want to do is just kind of press that chest more towards your chin. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable. Make sure you're really squeezing those glutes, pressing on those thighs up. One more breath here. And then exhale all the way back down. I'm going to just do that one more time just to really sort of open up that front body. And then inhaling, hips up towards the sky, chest towards the chin, really pressing on those shoulders, squeeze those glutes, thighs are kind of pressing up, really pressing with those feet. Exhaling all the way back down. And just take one breath here. And then pressing down the palms of your hands, you're going to slowly come up. And then now I'll show you a sort of peak pose. So if you are a complete beginner, please be careful. This is quite a strong one for your lower spine. Just do the best you can. And if you've done this before, just I hope you're warmed up enough. So inhaling, you're coming up. And then here you have, let's do two options. So what we're going to do here is bring our hands just behind here, so kind of like above your butt, around that sort of hip area, and either here you can push here, so kind of like your hips are pressing forward, so as if you're kind of pressing up your thighs against an imaginary wall. And then here, as you're pressing with those fingertips, if you want with your hands, you're going to bring your elbows behind you. What that's going to do is bring your chest out. If your neck is okay, you slowly bring yourself back. This is number one way to do it. The Shavasana, camel pose. This is our lovely peak pose, really opening up our chest, the anahata chakra area. And then inhaling, coming back up, and then hands on top of the knees. Give yourself a little break. I always find that this pose is like, how would you say, it's just deep. I feel it really a lot in my chest, and I think because we do a lot of things facing forwards on my phones, computers, driving, this is kind of a bit of a challenge. It's like completely different to what we usually do. So another one, we're going to do that again. If you're feeling warm up enough, you can do kind of the different version, but inhale here, hands behind you. You're going to press again, either the fingertips or your hands, hips forward, elbows in, chest out. And if you've done this before and you'd like to go a little bit further, toes are tucking in, elbows together. You're going to reach for one hand on top of the heel and the other on top of the other heel. Staying here, one more breath, pressing those hips towards that imaginary wall. And then inhale slowly, coming up, left hand and right hand above the hips, and then exhale, both hands on top of the knees. Feel it. And then slowly bring your hands down. You're going to untuck those feet. You're going to bring yourself down into a lying down position. So this is your final position. This is your Shavasana. So here, both feet out to the side. If you're kind of feeling a bit niggly in the back of your lower back, just bring both feet together, both knees out to the side. Otherwise, bring both feet out, palms facing up, shoulders down. So if you're a very busy person, this is probably the most important practice for you to do, is slowing down. And again, as you're here, just gently closing the eyes in your Shavasana and your corpse pose. Just the mantra is, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. again, coming back to self-love, loving your body just as it is, especially with summer coming up. Maybe it can feel really intimidating to show a bit more skin, and even if you're comfortable in a body, I think it's always good to work on a practice of being kind to ourselves and speaking kindly to ourselves, and therefore really spreading lots of love for yourself, because it's always sort of easier to be negative or to say something mean about yourself rather than to just love and accept yourself. Here, if you'd like to stay longer in Shavasana, feel free to do so. Otherwise, if you're ready, just moving the toes and the fingertips, gently bringing both knees in towards your chest. You're going to give yourself a nice hug again, remembering about self-love, about being kind to yourself, and then slowly coming back up into a comfortable seated position. Both hands out in front of you, shoulders down, here closing the eyes, then hands out in front of your heart. And that was it. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's just gotten really dark. I hope that this helps you, and if you want to know the video that I'm referring to about the glorification of thinness and kind of my rant about that, feel free, I will add it on this video. And otherwise, practice this anytime you would like to feel good, which is the theme and the name of my upcoming course. So if you'd like to sign up for that, it's really a course to always come back to, just like this yoga lesson. It's just the whole guide and course to just bring you back to who you are and to remind yourself of how amazing you are already, but just using certain tools that I've learned over the years to just always bring me back from that untrusting, procrastinating, anxious self. So I hope this helped you today, and see you soon.